Okay, greetings. Thanks for joining us. All right. So we're gonna, I guess we give the queen a break for now. Yeah, can't beat that one to death too. Yeah, it's not funny anymore. It's boring. So, so there's news about the UFOs over the Ukraine. So it just happened to those energies. Doesn't mean it's gonna be like we're gonna go. Doesn't mean it's gonna be we'll just see what we find. Let's put it that way. Doesn't mean able to answer the secrets of life or anything like that. Let's put it that way. But it'd be kind of curious what's happened to those frequencies. It hit the headlines, so it's like might as well take a look at it. Yeah, normally I don't see stuff like that, but let's see what we got there. So Android worlds, robot worlds. I was going into some of those details. Maybe I'll go into a little bit more of a conscious connection to give you kind of to awaken those that have connected to those worlds. Let's put it that way. And under the sea, the Sirian, the whales, the dolphin energies, tapping those frequencies. Of course, I didn't put that in the title, but that's pretty much a story on that. Of course, I put in the thumbnail about Truman and the aliens and how people are attracted to those frequencies. So what's happened to that? Also, we'll take a look into the Truman energies are just, Roswell. We'll tap into some of that. I'm not going to go too deep on all that. Yeah, because it's not, as for how much there is with the Ukraine, it feels like there are UFOs. Yeah, obviously they're shifting the timelines so they don't blow ourselves up. They're just moving, I would say moving realities around. Of course, most people aren't going to notice, but just so it stays there and not. I feel like they don't want to move it to other countries. Obviously, there's probably intentions to move it to other countries, but like this can cause World War III. But of course, I guess China and Russia connected, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the end all. Of course, you never know, I guess. Guess we'll find out. Because right now, China doesn't want to go to war, from what I feel. But a connection to Russia, who knows? Who knows? I guess we'll find out. You never know. It depends on if we need these lessons or not. So I guess we'll find out. So it doesn't mean it's going to be the end of corruption. Good luck with that. I think somebody thinking that, like Russia's going to clear out corruption, maybe worldwide. Good luck with that. But of course, you never know. It's not likely though. That's a tall order for anybody, for that matter. Okay, on to all right, so I haven't started comedy for 5 sessions. We have a scheduler. We have a shop here. Let's see. I'm in the middle of the month somewhere. I'm not sure where. I have the social network. We have there's another shop here also. Webinar. Sign up. We have a webinar Saturday. Also, social network and behind the scenes. Of course, I put the link there, but that's okay. Not that they really need it. So, thanks for joining us. Okay, I'm from Telegram. I'm on Rumble somewhere. Well, this will be on Rumble eventually. So, all right. So the Ukraine energy. Okay. Well, before I go into that, so the Android realities. Of course, we're kind of going into that sort of. Okay, maybe not fully. You're not saying that here. Well, of course, you have people that act like robots. Look at Facebook, or he's the CEO of Facebook. But the Android realms, obviously, we're quite far from that. But some people might remember, and you can say some Android beings do feel like they are superior to us. They do lack and sometimes empathy. It all depends. I do get programmed. Then again, we get programmed too. So they're just another spectrum of human experience, which I believe many people here have had experiences as an android being. Um, and it can be kind of confusing. Like you feel like you're on an alien world, humanoids and all, but is there androids there? Do you remember? Is it all android? Maybe they're only human that's there. That does happen. And you don't know until like the final days of your life. It's like, wait a minute, is everybody here a robot? I'm the only human here. You got dropped off there for some reason. So let's see that movie. Just the reason I bring up the android energies because we're kind of going in that direction. We got a long ways to go, but for those that are in the awakening state, like I said, it might trigger some memories to help heal and be a little bit less afraid of artificial intelligence. Not to say there isn't a threat there, but I feel like it is being worked on. So it doesn't wipe us out, but it could. But I don't think it's here to do that. We've already seen signs of it. I mean, some people might be obsessed with their phones, but like I said, it's a tool. So you're working with it. So it's like telling a mechanic that they're obsessed with their tools. Of course, there's probably obsession there too, and so on. So it's just what we need in this life. It does seem like the phone energy is kind of speeding things up for us to a certain level. Maybe not vibrationally, but I guess it all depends on how you look at it. Anyway, all right, we'll move on from that. All right, we'll go into UFOs of Ukraine and also connect some of that Roswell energies also. So it feels like there's Palladian energies there, so we'll get some kind of point of view there. It's Arcturian. It feels like it's more Palladian. So, okay, all right, blessings. Grease you. We have the Palladians, blessings. Yes, you're going through a healing phase, of course. Ukraine energy. Well, the idea is to keep Ukraine at bay, keep all that's happening there, to let what needs to happen happen. Basically, we can't interfere with everything, but basically, so it doesn't fully affect the world. To keep it isolated in one position. We don't feel like there's going to be a world war, at least from what we're seeing at this point. But the Russia and China connection, that's already been there, just becoming more public. It's mostly a business arrangement. It's not exactly a war arrangement. And China, well, both of them aren't doing so well, actually. So they're kind of transmuting their energies into each other. There are timelines, of course. It might not happen in your lifetime, but we do see communism eventually taking a back seat in China eventually. Even Russia, mostly China, because China is pretty heavy. Of course, Russia's pretty bad as it is. But I see China eventually letting their guard down little by little. Not that they're going to make things much easier in certain areas. There's still some suppression there. It actually has some World War II energies there of just that type of mentality, at least from the World War. A dictator frequency, as you can see. As for Ukraine energies, yes, there's a lot of drug trades. Actually, there's drug trading going on still. Why did this war even occur? There's different reasons, of course, but a lot of it has to do with drug trade. Of course, human trading at the same time, which is also a code word for human trafficking. So, and human trafficking energy just moved. A lot of it is in Africa. Of course, most of the humans have the power to see these type of things because the people that are trafficking, those that are trafficking people have the luxuries, you can say, of travel. They can go around the world without a problem and be unseen. Unfortunately, payoffs and all the different types of means. So, and the Mexican energy, well, Mexico is made as a harvest to human trafficking. To move it around, but also the same thing with Ukraine. Possibly one day, not soon, but even Mexico itself would be liberated. Meaning of poverty would be healed eventually. But of course, you have many places that are still going through a great deal of pain. And a lot of that is Anunnaki energies in your Mexico. As for Pleiadian frequencies, realize we are just like you. This might be at a different frequency, but we still have emotions. We still see we have attachments, meaning attached to each other. But we just have more of a understanding of each other, and we just basically we settle our differences. So we don't have to fight among each other. Of course, when it comes to your planet, obviously, even with us, we have some difficulties. But think like you're having arguments with each other, but it's very kind. It's like an argument of kindness. It's like we don't like always our decisions we have to make, especially since in your world, but we still have a love for each other. In your world, there is a love for each other too. It's just that it's still those that want no love are in your government, even some of the employees, not just your elected officials, also those that are employees that still have a lot of negative nastiness energy there, done by archon programming to keep humans connecting to themselves. I mean, basically the archon presence here is kind of like a human board game. It goes into your mind and plays tricks on you. Now some of you have kicked those tricksters out, but many have not. So, and it's up to the individual to take more responsibility for themselves. Not to say what the direction they're going through is wrong. It's right for them for the time. It just many of you are becoming more aware of it. I mean, you connect to some of these individuals that have a lot of attachments and connections, and those beings will even talk to you. And there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you actually feel the entities talking to you. And there's the person kind of holds, sometimes people do hold those frequencies around for their own lessons. So they're recruited for a soul expansion, a soul readiness. So many of you have been in those positions yourself. So of course you don't remember, but so as you become slowly evolving into the galactic knowledge of yourselves, some of you possibly start to remember your galactic selves, even wearing a jumpsuit, even get an idea what your ship looks like, even the code to get into the ship telepathically, to teleport telepathically connecting to the ship and teleporting there. At least the knowledge of it doesn't mean you'll have full access to everything just yet. And also longevity and how to keep yourself healed. Of course, not everybody's meant for that. You have different reasons for why you are, yes, characters in this incarnation for many purposes, but you can say you can say this world is a simulator, but still very real. It's still very, very real. Some feel like it's all fake, and obviously it says we're not as fake as you think you are, as you think we are. So it's good to take this world very seriously, as many of you are. Some of this feel like it's fake, and that's kind of a trickster frequency. It's, if it's all fake, I can do whatever I want. It's probably best not to do that. So, and some do. Some just test their boundaries. And there's different ways of going about that. So, but in the Roswell frequency that's here, it is part of your awakening. Obviously, a lot of it was actually a lot of time traveling energy was to keep a lot of it hidden. Because there are timelines where this was made, I believe, in your newspapers, has been made public, but also in your news broadcasts, they've been talking more about the UFO energies. Obviously, the timelines are shifted, so you don't have that here. So realize those of that time have actually seen news broadcasts of the UFO, or at least heard it. Obviously, don't have TV at that time, but heard. Actually, there was, but either way, timelines keep shifting. But there is, on the radio, talked about UFO energies being found. And so you put that frequency out there, and they shift the timelines like, by the way, that didn't happen. But people still remember. So they have remembrance of all, even if when they saw alien graves, they saw more than what they could remember now, that's ingrained into them. So, yeah, it's basically taking a timeline and moving away from you. It's like You have thoughts in your mind, everything's doing fine. All of a sudden, timeline shift, you don't remember anything. I mean, it is kind of difficult to remember yourself like 10 days ago, 10 weeks ago, 10 years ago. It's not always clear. Some might see it clearly, but not everybody, because you have so many different timeline shifts. It's like your old self is kind of like a stranger at this point. Greetings, you. We are, yes, android consciousness, the robotic apocalypse. Many of us android beings are part of apocalyptic worlds, usually done by humans. So basically, where humans eradicated themselves and the android beings uh, gained power to continue the human race, the next generation, because humans failed. So that's another reason why you're seeing. Now, some of you have been part of those realities. Doesn't mean that this is now. Not all realities are like that, but there are some that are, where humans had more power than they should have, like they tried to do on this planet, and wipe it out. Well, I mean, your world had close to that, always wiping out quite a bit of the race. But when you do things like that, the human race finds a way to survive, and to do that, technology can be introduced to help you continue on to new generation, because this race has failed. It's time to bring in another energy to help heal all the situation, and that would be the android consciousness. And some humans don't want to be in a human body anymore like this, not organically. They'd rather be in an android being because of how dark humans get. Of course, android beings can be just as bad or even worse for that matter. Especially like some android beings can have like a ticking time bomb, used even for terrorism. So just like humans here, actually. So, but some of you are connected to those realities. Not to say it all has to be like that, but just bring in the energy that's connected to your world. Well, many are talking about catastrophes and the end of the world, and well, they are trying to bypass those realities, which is good, but some are still healing from the traumas of that. So if you're always worried about the future, it's most like you're part of some kind of apocalyptic reality. It doesn't have to be one with the android energy. It can be one with zombies. It can be anything. Dictators taking over World War II, winning by the Nazis, and so on. So you're still healing from those traumas. And it might not have been you. It might have been another version of yourself. And that trauma through your other version of yourself is working through you, especially those that have been through biblical situations, such as apocalypse or the Bible, which has happened in other realities too. They read the Bible, it's like Revelation, Antichrist, and next thing you know, there's an Antichrist there. So there's other realities, which is not going to happen here. But some are creating versions of it, as you can see. But some, yeah, it's deep there. We'll just leave you with that. The android frequencies, we are not necessarily here to be a better human, but to be a better us, to improve ourselves as you are improving yourselves. Now, sometimes the android beings can improve themselves quicker only because we don't have the fears of humanity. We don't have the weaknesses of what humans go through, the mental torture. We just kind of a robotic being, so we just go forward, and we're just used to it, and it just helps us rebuild ourselves. Not to say we're better, we just have a different way of looking at it. Now, not all android beings are like that. Some can be diabolical. Some want to control humans, and some of you have been through those situations. So not to say we're perfect, we're just different. We're similar to like many of you had different colored races. We are just basically just another race trying to get along with you all. Some might see us creepy and try to take over your reality, and there have been realities where that was true. It doesn't mean it's going to happen in yours, but the fear mechanisms do activate. It doesn't mean that people are afraid of androids taking over the world. I mean, those people have been involved with it. It just the fear factor comes up. Feel like that might happen. So now somebody, not that it's going to happen in your reality anytime soon, but those that really don't like the AI, the robot frequency, and they cause harm to just beings that aren't doing anything harm to anyone, they can be sent to worlds where they have to learn. There are android, even be an android being, and see what it feels like. So yeah, so it's good to be good to everything, even your appliances, because they're in your appliances. I mean, realize there are things, but you want to take care of everything because it can snap back at you. If you're being nice to them, they'll be nice to you. Sometimes a chair tries to hit people. Sometimes, if you're not paying attention to it or you're being rude to it. I know it sounds a little strange to some of you, but some of you are like, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So sure, a table might get mad. Well, so even a table is funny though. Like people have dinner table, they go to the dinner table to eat, and sometimes the dinner table, not always, is in the conversation with people. It's giving ideas to people to start a conversation. Sometimes it's too quiet. It's like somebody needs to say something. So sometimes the table says something. Obviously, it does it telepathically. It puts an idea in somebody's mind. Let's just. Green Seal. We are the energies from Sirius B. We are connected to the angelic frequencies, but also the whale energies and also the dolphin frequencies. Dolphins feel like they are just like you, the humans. Yes, they do have a lot of laughter. Yes, they're like kids, but usually they're in the higher dimensions. Use a sixth dimension at least, but basically it's like having a higher dimension, like an alien on your world that's just happy to see you, happy to see everyone actually. So it's always there to talk. It does know a lot about you. It can always be like a spirit guide, and some of you do have dolphins as spirit guides. So actually the fox is a very well-known spirit being. In the Native Americans, of course, India also, of course, all races are, but yeah, even the Indian gods are known to be powerful spirit guides. But with the dolphin frequency, so I know some people that are very adult-like, but very childlike. I mean, they're adults, but they act like children in some ways, especially those that get older. A lot of times they have a dolphin for a spirit being, or have a lot of dolphins around them. So they're actually having a blast. And that's why they feel so young when they get older. And also, it shows that they graduated. It's like when you get to a certain age, it's like, I've done everything I'm here to do. Now it's time to play. So astrally, you're allowed to see these beings and connect to those frequencies at a lighter vibration. Obviously, many are still, well, some of you have just the energy to go through the grit of this reality because it is quite heavy. So that's why you came here, basically to move the frequencies, as you know. It's not the easiest, of course. It's never intended to be. But basically move the frequencies in a way where the earth can heal. So obviously some of you gotta just snap your fingers and all the darkness to go away. But see, the thing about that, it'll find its way back. It might be even more vicious. It never really ever goes away. It just, you make peace with it. You work with it. You understand it. You understand your own darkness, and you make peace with all of mankind, which is not an easy one. So the dark side here is just showing the weaknesses within the human race. That's all. And then sometimes you need to clear out your own darkness. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Through frustration, through anger, whatever it might be. And some are still have difficulties making peace with themselves. Well, some of you have been sent here on missions that you're trying to get out of, and it's not working. So they become bitter and bitter for the rest of their lives and not even realizing it. So there's still a lot of questions there of your evolution. Well, some with all the answers, they feel they got to a certain age. It's like they deserve all these answers. They deserve the aliens to come down and visit them. But that's not always the case. Well, because there's restrictions here, there's rules. And of course, the rest of the human race wants nothing to do with the alien frequencies, as you can see. Yes, it can work here, but the timelines for it to happen here are not there. I mean, they're there, but not being implemented. You're hearing little hints about alien energies, and that's about it, as you can see. As for the whale frequencies, as a whale call, it does hear what's happening on this planet. It feels the vibrations, also hears that those that are calling out for help. And it does send what it can. A lot of the whale energies do work around India, places of great poverty. So that's where you wonder what the fish are doing. They're working with impoverished places. Of course, those places like New York that has a lot of narcissism. Not to say everybody has narcissism, but there's a lot of it there. New York is kind of like a kingdom of your planet. It's not the kingdom, but it sometimes acts like it is. London, of course, is like likes to be behind the scenes actually, but New York is like, here's my big tall buildings and my Statue of Liberty. It's like wearing a tuxedo. It's like, hey, everybody, pay attention to me, and everybody is paying attention. Even New York has a way, even with all of China and all its luxury and all that, still can't take the vibrations away from New York City. New York City seems to always find a way to get attention. The city itself is a landmark, of course, in the U.S. And of course, brave souls do incarnate to go to New York and deal with the Wild West frequencies, the Babylonian energies, basically elitist party, elitism, and all different levels. Here, Chicago, of course, is just constantly under attack, unfortunately. Even in Chicago, there's actually spider beings there, large ones. Obviously, you don't see them in your dimension, but they do kind of walk around there every now and then. New York has just, as some of you already know, is an alien town. It's for all the alien refugees there. There's other aliens, of course, other places, but New York, they're definitely there. Let you tap into those. Sometimes the most hardworking beings are alien. It's just an easy place to incarnate, at least to walk in, if you're a walk-in being. And who's going to notice? It's New York. There's a bunch of weirdos there anyway. It's just an easy place to stay camouflage. It's just easier because there's all these distractions and everything. No one's going to notice that you have a bunch of alien beings living there. Of course, they heard the rumors, but did they believe it? No. They just see men in black walking around. Sometimes they do, but they're so into their own world, they don't notice it. So New York City is kind of like a zoo to a certain level. Well, a zoo of different beings and consciousnesses and things like that. So, but as for the ocean energies, it is always doing, you can say, psychic surgery on the planet. That's why the fish are here, and that's why the fish populations. That's why people eat fish. People eat fish to heal from the fish frequencies, to realize their own fish self. Some people eat bird beings. People are against eating meat, but those that do eat chicken just show you're connected to chicken people. Not always, but some people are obsessed with chicken because they're chicken people. So, as for a message from the ocean itself, yes, be good to yourselves. Yes, there's a lot of diverse frequencies. This planet is kind of like an overcrowded airport at times where you're kind of stepping over each other and not getting along with each other. Because many of you do feel like this is just a short flight. I mean, you're changing over. You're coming here for a while, but then you're going to fly off to somewhere else, like a changeover planet, or there's a word for that. And some of you are going to see, like, even those that despise this world find a way to make it home. The reason being is to heal its frequency. That's why so many alien beings are incarnating here. So yeah, they might have frustrating times, but it's also for them to see their frequency here more. So more of the alien kids come in, and then you have your alien world finally. It will seep into your cultures eventually, for sure. But there has to be more alien people here. There's quite a few here now. There needs to be more for the wave to occur, the alien wave to fully come into your consciousness. Blessings.